approval of the September 2024 regular public meeting minutes. You also received copies of the minutes. They were also published to our website. Does anyone have a question or concern with regard to the minutes as presented? Seeing none, then we'll accept the minutes by acclamation as well and move to the treasurer's report. Tonight we'll review the fourth quarter fiscal year 24 report. Commissioner Yates, the floor is yours.
The draft quarterly financial report was circulated in advance and posted on the website. It reflects normal expenditures. The quarter ended September 30th, and it reflects periods through that. So I request the Commission's approval of the fourth quarter 2024 financial report, and so move, Chair Brooks.
Is there a second? I'll second. Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Johnson seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand, or in Commissioner Gilligan's case.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Gilligan?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Commissioner Cohen, you're on mute.
Aye.
Thank you. That's everyone. All right, we'll move to the approval of the community grants. Resolution 4B241001, grant award for Tacoma Elementary School Parent Teacher Organization. Commissioner Yates, are you presenting?
I don't believe that there is a presentation necessary for this one because it is
Well, by presenting, I mean, are you discussing?
Sure. I'm happy to speak in support of the resolution, which was circulated in advance. This is to support a Title I District of Columbia Public School located within 4B01. The parent-teacher organization here has received grants from us in the past and has done solid work in support of the community using the money awarded by the commission, and has had their grants audited by OANC and approved every time. They have applied again this year, and I believe that they are a worthy recipient of a grant from ANC 4B.
Thank you. Is there a motion? We can discuss each one separately because we have to read one of them. So is there a motion? Was that a motion, Commissioner Yates?
I so move, Chair Brooks.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Yes, I second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm not sure what's going on with the camera. You can only see like half of me.
Cool.
Everyone else having that same issue?
No. Do you have a slider over your lens on your built-in, a physical slider? Because that's often
I have a slider, but I didn't think.
Try opening it, closing it, and opening it back up again. There you go.
Thank you.
No problem.
Right, so I believe I heard or saw every hand. Did anyone hear Commissioner Gilligan? I'm sorry, Commissioner Gilligan.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. That's everyone. All right, we'll move to 4B241002, a grant award for Calvin Coolidge Alumni Association. Because their application was late, the resolution wasn't posted on the website. So although it has been circulated to all the commissioners, Commissioner Palmer is going to read it. Is that correct?
Yes, I am happy to do so. Let me pull that up on the screen now. And just want to clarify that the delay here was that the Alumni Association wanted to do their own vote on submitting the application, so they took a little bit of time to do that. So this is Resolution 4B241002, Grant Award for Calvin Coolidge Alumni Association. Advisory Neighborhood Commission 4B takes note of the following. The commission has the authority to provide grants to community organizations that are public in nature and for projects that benefit people who live and work within Advisory Neighborhood Commission 4B's boundaries. Recent changes to the law require that commission grants have a purpose that includes a significant benefit for the community. The previous requirement that a grant had to benefit the community as a whole was a more difficult standard. The Calvin Coolidge Alumni Association seeks to enhance student life at Calvin Coolidge High School, comprised of the school's alumni, many of whom live and continue to contribute to the neighborhood. The Alumni Association's major goal is to establish functional programs and activities that will support and reinforce student education, academic support, career orientation, and college preparation. Coolidge High School is committed to providing excellence in education for all students. Through program design and rich learning experiences, students are provided many opportunities to achieve academic excellence and reach their highest potential. The school is a community hub, serving students across the Commission area with 42% in Boundary and a significant number of at-risk students at 69%. Coolidge High School's academic programming includes several academies, including the NAF Academy of Health Sciences. This academy addresses the critical achievement gap in STEM fields by developing a pipeline of students prepared to pursue health-related degrees and professions in one of the fastest-growing sectors of the economy. ANC4B has worked regularly with Coolidge High School and the Coolidge Alumni Association, including but not limited to partnerships on community stormwater solutions grants involving student education around stormwater management via a neighborhood project, regular student participation in a week of community cleanups hosted by several commissioners and Advisory Neighborhood Commission 4B, and collaboration on a voter registration party for the broader community held at Coolidge High School. See a little typo there that I'll fix, that included registering 71 Coolidge High School students to vote and engage members of the community and local community groups with the school. The Coolidge Alumni Association seeks funding assistance to support a community-facing and community-serving Health for All community health fair. The health fair will provide an opportunity for community members, local organizations, students, and families to gather in the spirit of personal and community health. The event will provide a variety of age-appropriate activities for community members, including fitness demonstrations, nutrition and cooking demonstrations, and health screenings. As noted in the grant application, the DC Healthy People 2020 framework outlines the following areas of focus for DC residents: access to health services, adolescent health, asthma, blood disorders and blood safety, cancer, diabetes, disability services, environmental health, food safety, foreign-born populations, healthcare-associated infections, heart disease and stroke, hepatitis C, HIV, immunization and infectious diseases, injury and violence prevention, LGBTQ health, maternal, infant, and child health, mental health and mental disorders, nutrition, weight status and physical activity, older adults, oral health preparedness and response, public health infrastructure, STIs, sleep health, social determinants of health, substance abuse, and tobacco use. The proposed health fair will aim to focus on addressing these prioritized areas through screenings, educational workshops, and activities. The event will also include collaboration with local health organizations such as Kaiser Permanente, Howard University College of Medicine, Georgetown University Hospital, the DC Hospital Association, and other local health and public health agencies to provide screenings. In addition, the DC Healthy People 2020 framework offers the following two goals. One, adolescents and young adults are socially, physically, emotionally, and mentally supported by the environments in which they regularly engage, home, school, neighborhood. And two, adolescents and young adults are successful in school and credentialing programs and ready for a career in higher education. The proposed health fair will specifically address adolescent health, including a college and career section to raise awareness of post-secondary opportunities. The event will be community-facing and community-serving, significantly benefiting residents within ANC4B. The event will be broadly advertised to neighborhood schools and residents, and the Commission has offered to support with outreach. The community will benefit through increased health awareness around various health topics. Awareness can help to foster a stronger community, as well as offer insights into the social determinants of health at the root of the healthcare profession. The Commission has regularly noted the need for a community-facing event to share health-related information and sought the opportunity to host a health-related fair. The grant application includes a detailed budget. Grant funding would be used to support the event with participant bags, screening materials and resources, bilingual services, mobile health vans, tables and chairs, and health literacy materials. The Commission has assessed the Coolidge Alumni Association's grant application and affirmed it meets the 5 specific requirements for grants detailed in guidance from the district's Office of the Attorney General. Public purpose. The proposed grant application from Coolidge Alumni Association is for public purposes within the Commission area. The event will be open and broadly advertised to the ANC4B community. The grant supporting this event will result in a significant benefit for the community in the form of broad resource and information sharing addressing a core community need, as well as community engagement, and the public is the grant's primary beneficiary. The fostering of relationships among community groups, public health organizations, various schools, and neighbors across the commission area provides an additional public purpose. Local benefit. The proposed grant application from the Coolidge Alumni Association benefits persons who reside or work within the commission area and is focused on those residents. Many of the school's students live in the school's boundary, which aligns closely with the boundaries of Advisory Neighborhood Commission 4B. Further, the community-facing and community-engaging event is specifically directed toward the ANC 4B community, including support and dissemination via the commission and commissioners. Proposed project. The proposed grant application from the Coolidge Alumni Association is for a proposed project. The grant is for a community-facing and community-engaging event, a specific undertaking for a future project. Organization. The Coolidge Alumni Association is an organization that is public in nature, not an individual or a government entity. Non-duplication. The proposed grant application from the Coolidge Alumni Association is for services that are not duplicative of any that are already performed by the district government. The proposed grant does not fund services that the district government already provides. The Office of Advisory Neighborhood Commissions previously determined grant applications for Tacoma Elementary School Parent-Teacher Organization for community-facing and community-serving events were eligible for funding. These past determinations indicate this grant application for a community-facing and community-serving health fair is eligible for funding as well. Resolved that ANC 4B grants the Calvin Coolidge Alumni Association $4,000 to support a Health for All community health fair that is open and advertised broadly to the ANC 4B community as outlined in the submitted application. That ANC 4B requires the Calvin Coolidge Alumni Association to provide all required grant reporting and related documentation outlined in the application package. And the rest is our standard template language. Whew. And that, just to clarify for those watching, is read into the record because it was submitted after our internal deadline for posting draft materials to the website. So just to ensure that there's transparency around that.
All right, does anyone have a question or a concern with regard to this resolution?
I'm bringing Commissioner Colson over. I see that she's in the attendee room.
Commissioner Cohen, were you raising your hand or just sort of moving your arm?
Nope, not
All
raising
right.
my hand.
Got it. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the resolution as submitted?
I'll move.
Thank you. In a second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Gilligan?
Aye.
Thank you. That's everyone. All right, we'll move to the next grant award, which is Resolution 4B 241003, which is a grant award for Ward 4 Mutual Aid. Commissioner Yates or Commissioner Palmer, I'm not sure who's presenting.
I'm happy to speak on behalf of Ward 4 Mutual Aid, Chair Brooks.
Thank you.
Ward 4 Mutual Aid is a charitable organization focused on serving our community. They're headquartered here in the neighborhood, directly adjacent to 4B at Brightwood Park United Methodist Church. Most of the people on this commission in this community are familiar with their good work supporting people who have fewer resources in our neighborhood. This grant would provide funding to them for winter weather gear, as well as essential hygiene items such as diapers and wipes that are not routinely provided by government funds. And so I would move that we award the grant as outlined in the resolution, circulated properly in advance to Ward 4 Mutual Aid.
Is there a second? Thank you. Thank you. All in favor? Commissioner
Aye.
Gilligan? Commissioner Gilligan, are you there?
Sorry,
I
can you
heard him
hear
say
me?
I heard
Chair
him.
Brooks.
I can hear you. Okay, thank you.
Aye.
All right, that's everyone. We'll move to Resolution 4B 241004, authorizing the commission community support and expenditures. Who's presenting? Commissioner Yates, are you still going?
I'm happy to, or I'm happy to yield the floor to Chair Palmer, to Commissioner Palmer, she'd rather.
No preference here.
Me either.
Give me just a moment on this one then.
Somebody go.
I'm happy to, do you want me to do it?
Yes,
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yes, this is a resolution. We have authorized community support and outreach expenditures in the past. We set the commission budget in September and did not authorize much money to community serving events and outreach because there will be significant commissioner turnover before the next term, and we wanted those commissioners to sit together and decide how to use the funds. But there is a need for additional community support expenditures in the form of some neighborhood events, and allowing us to do things like help with printing costs, and table at these events to share information about Advisory Neighborhood Commission 4B. So with that, I would move that we approve 4B 24-1004, authorizing commission community support and outreach expenditures.
I'd second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Gilligan? I keep saying Palmer.
Aye. I'm trying to
Thank
figure
you.
out my camera still. Thanks for bearing with me.
No problem. All right, that was everyone. And just for the record, because I said it with all the others, this also was posted to our website in advance of the meeting. I'll move to commissioner updates. We'll start with Commissioner Colson.
No updates.
Thank you. 4B02, Commissioner Palmer.
Yes, just want to give a little bit of an update of things that have gone on in October. I worked with several commissioners on events across DC to highlight sidewalk and pedestrian infrastructure as a part of what we have termed Sidewalk Palooza. So there were hundreds of 311 requests submitted, calling for sidewalk repairs and other pedestrian infrastructure improvements. In terms of upcoming things, my regular monthly cleanup, which takes place the first Saturday of the month, will be November 2nd at 10 a.m. At Van Buren and Piney Branch by the Safeway. That's always the first Saturday of the month. And my office hours will be Saturday, November 16th at 3 p.m. And I've been focusing those lately on 311 blitzes and helping neighbors understand how to submit 311 requests and get action on those requests. Thank you.
4B03.
Yes, I am going to be conducting a cleanup myself, particularly alleys. I've gotten several requests, so the date and time will be announced soon. So yeah, that's all I have.
All right, thank you. 4B04. Commissioner Yates.
Yes, I wanted to provide an update on a commission-supported event, the Tacoma Park Street Festival, which the commission hosted a booth conveniently located next to the DC Paid Family Leave Cruise. So a lot of DC residents getting services together there. Conversations with over 100 4B residents over the course of the day there, on everything from sidewalks and street safety to the Office of Unified Communications, and how to run for ANC. Very excited to be a part of this community event and to see such a strong turnout of neighbors from all across. I believe I spoke to at least one person from every single member district, which is unusual for any community event.
4B05.
I have no updates, Chair. Thank you.
4B06, Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Johnson. You're on mute. You're on mute. See if I can send you a request to unmute yourself. I cannot. Commissioner Palmer, can you unmute her? Because I can't.
No.
Oh, okay. There we go. Hi,
Hi,
can you hear me?
we can.
Okay. So we don't have much to proffer this evening. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Wonderful.
There we
Well, thank you. 4B07, Commissioner Cohen.
Hi there. Just a few quick updates regarding dates. November 22nd is going to be our next ANC single member district 4B07 meeting at Lamont Rec Center at 10 a.m. And we just held our last one. It's on the fourth Saturday of each month. Additionally, I wanted to note that there's a trick or treat map that one of our neighbors in Lamont has put together that's available. I can provide the website. It's just http://bit.ly/Lamont Halloween. And lastly, I just wanted to bring everyone's attention to the 2024 Jobs Not Guns Citywide Recruitment Fair, which is on Thursday, November 14th at the DC Armory. We're hoping to get some folks from uptown, up in this area, to head over to that. And we've reached out to some schools nearby to try to get some kids to that job fair. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. My update is where's my pad? I want to point out for those that haven't experienced today that Riggs Road is closed between North Capitol Street and First Place. That's from North Capitol to Fort Totten Metro. Riggs Road is closed, is a traffic nightmare. So if you can avoid that area, I wish that you would. There is a water main break that is in the process of being repaired, and hopefully it will be done soon. That is it for my update because I was going to talk about the job fair, but Commissioner Cohen beat me to it. So with that, I will, Commissioner Barry, your turn.
Thank you. So yesterday, the Lamont Community Action Group and Barbara Rogers from LRCA, we had a really successful Halloween parade. We have, and like, I think this is the fourth one. So next, we're going to do our holiday. Last year we did like gift cards at DCFS, but right now they're having the Lamont Community Action Group meeting at the same time, so I can't give too much update on that. But yeah, we had a really good turnout for the Halloween parade, and that's it.
All right, thank you. Before we move on, I have a couple of things that I forgot about. I'm sorry. One is if your name is not indicated as an attendee, you will not be acknowledged. So for example, if it just says iPad 276 or GDW, if there's no name, I'm unfortunately not going to be able to call on you. And so I'm letting you know in advance before it gets awkward. That's the first thing. The second thing is we will access the Q&A and read whatever questions people might have, or the chat where applicable. Also, I wanted to point out that we had an art contest going on for students to participate in our annual report. And we are extending our deadline, which was tonight, by 1 week. So if your students have not submitted to date, please have them do so in the next week. All right, Commissioner Palmer, your hand is raised.
Yes, I also forgot something commission level to announce, which is that the commission is very excited that we have been placed with an intern as part of the Office of Industry Engagement's Advanced Internship Program. So this will be a student joining us to assist in website and some other services, and I'll save some of the additional details so we can hopefully introduce him at next month's meeting, but I wanted to foreshadow that and just express excitement that we are able to bring on a student both to give them experience in local government and some job training, as well as to learn from him and some of the skills that he will bring to the table.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on the agenda to community concerns. Please use the raise your hand button via Zoom or dial *9 from your phone to speak. And once we've given you the floor, you'll have 1 minute. Will you please elevate? Thank you.
I believe you can call on Jocelyn Johnson.
Johnson, yes.
Oh, can you hear me?
Can, yes.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good evening,
Good
everybody.
evening.
I really just wanted to ask ANC Commissioner so we won't have a repeat of previous year's fiascos with leaf collection. The mayor said that she will start the rollout of the leaf collection and there'll be 2 passes.
Mhm.
I don't know how she's going to do this, but I want to make sure that the ANC commissioners are going to be able to verify that one, the leaves have fallen so that they will know not to come before the leaves fall down. And then that's a pass. And then we don't have our leaves collected. So is there going to be some kind of verification process that
There's not. I'll just be honest. Nobody's walking around to check to see if leaves fell off trees. That's just not what we do as commissioners. And I
so
don't think
how
you did that either when you were a commissioner. So I don't
no, but I
know what
want
to
to.
say with that
She's
about
never
it.
she's never made this declaration, so we
This is
won't
the
have a
same
repeat
process
of
that
it.
we had last year. It's the
Yeah,
same
that was
exact
the fear.
process. Nothing has changed. And you can
Well,
follow the leaf collection online.
yeah, I
You'll know
know,
when
but
they're coming to your neighborhood.
I want to make sure that there's some kind of way that we don't lose our opportunity since she made it clear there's only
So
going to be 2 passes. But I can ask
there are only
Barbara.
2 passes every year, and that's my point. So the first pass happens, and whatever leaves need to be picked up, it happens on the second pass. But if you feel that your leaves were not collected or that the leaves off your tree were not sufficiently on the ground, then your recourse is to contact your ANC commissioner and have them reach out to DPW. That's the process.
I got you. I got you. But obviously, we have had issues in past years. So since she made a point of making that announcement today, I want to make sure because we
And
did
what I'm
that
saying
last
to
year.
you, what I'm
I,
saying to you is that she makes the announcement every year. DPW makes the announcement every year. The process is the same in that if you have an issue, you contact your ANC commissioner. That is why we are here. You have the benefit of your ANC commissioner until January the 1st. And then at that point, you will,
do the 311.
yeah, because
Yeah, I
your
mean, I
case,
know, but
your
I got.
ANC is currently vacant on the ballot. So I can't tell you what will happen to your commission, your
Well,
SMB in January.
okay,
But
but
that's the
hopefully,
only
yeah,
option that is available to you.
but hopefully by January we'll have leaves picked up. Thank
You
you.
should, yes. You're welcome.
Hopefully, thanks.
Mhm. I don't see any other hands.
Chair Brooks, I don't see any hands or questions in the Q&A.
Wonderful. Then we can move on. And we will hear from Yamala Escobar, or are we hearing from Leticia? Raise your hand so I know which one of you all. Okay. They're both here. Okay. From the mayor's office on community relations and services. So could you elevate both of them, please? Okay, guys. You have 3 minutes and the floor is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Leticia Acosta. I am the Ward 4 Mocha for the Mayor's Office of Community Relations. For us, as we know, leaf season started today. Sorry, give me 1 second. There's no way I could turn my camera on, right?
There should be. Commissioner Palmer, can you give her that option?
She should have it.
Give me just a second. I actually believe I hit the allow to talk button rather than the promote to panelist button. So they may take a moment while they have to rejoin.
There you go. Thank you.
There you go.
So as we all know, leaf season did start today. And again, DPW will be going out to each person's door when their area is up for leaf season. They will go out a week and put door handles on the door just to inform all residents that leaf season is approaching and the week that is approaching. We also seen DPW do that ourselves, door knocking and putting the handles. Also, let's make sure that we also don't contact 311 stating that leaves haven't been picked up if your route still has not been scheduled for pickup. Also, as we know, snow shoveling season, snow season is approaching. The deadline for snow shoveling is October 31st, and that's on Thursday. We also want to thank DPW. They have been working with us to make sure that we are sanitizing around the Ricks area. We have been working with a resident that has put some 311 requests, and the graffiti's also been removed, working on removing the graffiti. Give me 1 second, sorry.
Does that includes Riggs Road?
Yes.
Okay.
Some of the graffitis along the wall around Fort Swan has been removed already. And we also have been already flagging some of the ones that are still left. And also we have seen some illegal dumping around the park that we have reported and DPW have cleaned up. And I know also we have done walks in the neighborhood and due to rodent issues. And I would like to thank one of the neighbors in Mr. Smith area. She has organized just the neighborhood cleanup just to make sure that the rodent issues have been looked at, and DOH has been out twice to make sure that that issue is being taken care of.
All right, good evening, guys. It's Yami. Good job, Leticia. I'm sorry, I'm out sick, so she took the lead on providing the updates. I am here to just listen in, but I did want to add, I heard that commissioners have a couple of cleanups that are going to be happening. We also have Clean City coming back, so if you guys see materials for those cleanups, please reach out to Leticia and I. Even if you're a resident, ANC, if you guys want to organize those, just reach out to us. Our information is on the chat. But if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask.
I'm going to kick it off and say that I appreciate that DPW has come out in some areas to pick up dumping, but they have not been to mine, and that has been there for months. And I am losing confidence and faith in the 311 process because I personally made one mistake on one of my dumping requests, but not on both of them. And in addition to that, I also put in a 311 request for that graffiti along Riggs Road months ago. And they're just getting closed and not addressed.
Right. So the reason why we were able to assist, I know the bricks and the leaf, I flagged those up, so hopefully they're gone. I will go back.
They're not. They're
Okay.
not gone.
Okay, so I will, I guess, escalate it up even higher now for removal. But the resident did flag those directly to us, send pictures. We updated 311 request with him. We did walks with him as well. So if you guys, want to meet with us so we can see it firsthand, happy to meet with you guys, or just submit the 311 request to us directly. I know you have Commissioner Brooks. Don't hurt me. I'm working on them. I'm working on it. But just send them all over to us, and that way we are able to look into them.
Got it. Commissioner Palmer.
Thank you, Chair Brooks. I just wanted to highlight a couple of constituent issues. I've heard from a couple of people about getting ticketed for street sweeping, which is not the actual complaint. The complaint is that the street sweeping didn't occur, like they got ticketed and then the service didn't happen. And one gentleman has mentioned that street sweeping has never happened on his block. So I just want to highlight that, the rules around where you can park and when, that's one thing, but the underlying service is hopefully happening and should be happening. And then the other issue that we're still seeing is lack of notice on the no parking signs that are going up for utility or other work in the neighborhood. And the folks, particularly on Aspen Street, that have had like utility after utility are still having that, and they are just looking for a mechanism to make sure that they have proper notice for when they're not supposed to park due to that type of work. So they're continuing to deal with that. Thank you.
Commissioner Palmer, do you know if they received the notice within 48 hours or is it just like the night before?
It's hard to verify, and I can't say for sure, but there are a handful of neighbors that say that these signs go up like the night before or the morning of, and that puts them in a tough situation if they're not home or they're out for the day for work or taking their kids to school. And I can't independently verify that, but I've heard it from enough people that it seems like it's some sort of issue. The
Okay.
latest one was related to tree trimming, and I talked to DDOT Urban Forestry, and they indicated that they are talking to their tree trimmers just to make sure that they're on top of it. But it's just kind of a series of things happening on these specific blocks, so making sure that they have the information in advance.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Commissioner Yates?
Yeah, two things that actually came out of the community outreach work that the commission did at the Tacoma Park Street Festival. The first one I wanted to raise is that we have a cross-border business district, but because of the onerous street closure and special events procedures by the mayor's special events task force, almost all of the special events in our community are confined to the Maryland side of the border. And this drives business to the small businesses on the Maryland side of the border. This is something we've heard again and again from small businesses, from the business association, from people who attend it. So I just want to flag that again. This is an ongoing community concern that like making street closure events more difficult on the DC side, making community festivals more hard to hold on the DC side means that we drive that business away from DC businesses and into Maryland. The other thing that came up from a constituent during that, and I wanted to flag it again just because I'm near the end of 6 terms in office. So once again, I heard a complaint from a constituent who spent 5 minutes on hold after calling 911 for a vehicle collision with a bicyclist downtown. And just flag again that we've continually heard all 6 years complaints about the Office of Unified Communications and the inability. The last letter from the commission with a series of recommendations for OUC did not get a response from the administration. So I just want to say that these complaints are ongoing and put it in the record that we continue to hear concerns about OUC and about continuing to support special events for small businesses in our community. Thanks.
So, Commissioner Yates, I feel the same way you do, that it feels like it's been 6 terms and it's been 6 years.
6
But
years.
it's
Yeah,
only
well,
been
you
3
know,
terms.
yeah.
I know
Either
it
way,
feels like
either way, too long to be waiting on hold for 911. Now I'll just leave it at that.
Yes. Commissioner Colson.
Hi, thank you, Chair Brooks. So with relation to leaf pickup, I don't want to assume that that would include acorns, but I have a constituent who's had long-term concerns about acorns being cleaned on her block. She lives on a tree that definitely has one of those canopies of trees, which includes acorns, and there's also a mobility issue. So the acorns not being picked up causes a hazard for her and for everyone, because you would think the sky is falling over there, Chicken Little, you will get hurt by an acorn. So that's my first question. If you can speak to that, or if you can circle back to me, that would be great.
I believe if the acorns are racked up with the leaves, they'll get picked up because it's the machine will just automatically sweep it up, but they will have to be raked. So is she a senior?
She is.
Okay. Do you know what street that is? Or
Yes, 7th.
7th?
7th, it intersects with Geranium.
Okay. I can check in regards to that, but I'm pretty sure that if the acorns are raked up with the leaves, they'll get picked up. But maybe neighbors can step in and assist the senior with raking those acorns up. But I'll double check and make sure, and I'll circle back.
Okay. And then my other question, dumping, car dumping. We've seen that in the area with cars that have temporary tags that don't align with the VINs. And we definitely need those cars to be ticketed and towed. I know that it's been called into 311, but I want to put that on your radar as well.
Okay, I know that has been brought up to Leticia as well, and we did sweeps looking for the vehicles. So if you guys submit the 311 request and you can text them to us, send them into email or whatever the case may be. That way we're able to follow up flag it. And we're also, when we on our sweep days, which is Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, is when we're in the community. When you guys share those 301 requests with us, we are able to go and check and see for ourselves and flag it and escalate as is. So if you guys know where these cars are at, or if you submitted or the neighbors submitted, just encourage them to send them to us, and that way we can look into it.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Jocelyn
Yeah,
Johnson
Bob.
has a question, but we're not relitigating the leaf cleanup. They heard the conversation the first time.
I wasn't going to say anything about the leaf cleanup. I
Okay.
have something else. I want to ask about the 6500 block of 8th Street repairs fall off the radar screen. It's been about almost 2 years, and we have not, everything on 8th Street has been resurfaced after they did all the construction. They didn't ever come back to the 6500 block of 8th Street, and even ANC Commissioner Palmer brought that up last time, and I'm just wondering any updates. And we also have a new issue for the mayor's radar screen where youth are sitting in the tree space, vaping and passing around reefer, if you will. And we probably need to get that on somebody's radar screen. I'll also ask Barbara about it. That's a new thing now, I guess. And they just act like it's a picnic. So somebody needs to know about it so they can look into it, please.
Vaping in which area?
I'm just saying they're doing it. They were doing it. I can say specifically
She's
on
asking
800
where.
block of Tewksbury. But I had a neighbor tell me about 8th Street as well. So I don't know if this is getting ready to be a new thing. Just sitting down on a tree spot, a tree space area, just passing the vape thing and passing joints. So that's just not good. So I would think that would be picked up if the police do any patrolling, but because that's just odd to see people sitting on the tree spot, on the curb, like, but it needs to be on somebody's radar screen.
Is this more the morning time or is it after school or throughout the day?
Through the day. I saw it, or actually I saw it both times. So yeah, I don't think there's any special time for it, but they should be in school, but that sticks out like a sore thumb and you can smell it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And the 6500 block of 8th Street resurfacing.
Got it. I will look into the 6500 block. I haven't got any updates on that, but I will definitely look into it.
Hello, I hope everybody is well. I had a quick question because Yami, you had mentioned about seniors getting help maybe from some neighbors when it comes to picking up leaves. Does DACL have any programs currently similar to the snow program where our seniors can go to get their leaves picked up?
Hey, Sophia. No, nothing that I've heard of as of yet, and I'm sure it would have been put under my radar if it was available. But I can look in and check. But I'm gonna go. I'll just look and check before I say no. So I'll circle back and I'll ask for you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And nice hearing y'all.
All right. Thank you. I don't see anyone else with their hand raised. Commissioners, is that it? Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Thank
you
you.
did get one just added right after that, Chair Brooks, if you want to
Okay,
call
go ahead.
on Lara.
Go ahead.
It appears they lowered their hand. Oh, Paul Kiernan now.
Okay. Oh, Laura's back too. Paul.
Hey folks, thanks for doing this as always. As is my custom, whenever I get on these things, I just like to kind of express concern about reckless driving on Riggs Road and South Dakota Avenue, particularly that intersection in front of the Chick-fil-A. You know, it's rare that a red light goes by that doesn't get run. This is a problem for me because I cross that intersection on foot every day going to the metro to get to work. Um, I spoke to Officer Hamrick about it during one of the community walks, and he kind of suggested that, you know, the police don't have the authority that they used to, and implied that they couldn't really pull people over for running red lights and you know, kind of speeding through that intersection. And so to me, it just reinforces, I think, the need for a traffic camera, which Allison, I think you've put in requests for that. And I think I put in requests for that on 311, and you know, it's just been several years now, and like nothing's happened. So um, just wanted to kind of re-up that concern with the mayor's team. It's an interesting policy choice to just not enforce the law at that spot. Um, a lot of the drivers who are, you know, being crazy and putting DC residents at risk seem to be from out of state, from Maryland in particular. So be great if we could get that addressed.
Thank you. In fact, Yamla, there was a resolution with regard to this as well that we submitted, but we didn't get a response.
Okay. Can you, if you can send me that, I just put it down as my notes. Can you send me the resolution and I can check in and see if they have anything in the radar for that
Sure.
area? Thank you.
Thank you.
Laura's back.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I was talking before when you called me, and I guess I was muted. So I know that you've heard this in prior meetings, and I apologize if I sound like a broken record, but it continues to be problematic on the 200 block of Oglethorpe. Basically, the residents are being blocked in the mornings. We can't leave our driveways because of the traffic going towards New Hampshire Avenue, and it goes all the way down past Third on Oglethorpe. So it's like close to 2.5 full blocks of traffic. So it really is causing it's a dangerous situation, and I'm just curious what's going on there. So, you know, we have the lights that are installed over near McDonald. They've been installed for months, but they're covered. And I'm just trying to figure out, my understanding from residents who've been here much longer than me is this has been discussed for years. And I'm just curious what the update is, because it's just getting worse and worse. Thank you.
The update that I can provide you is the lights at South Dakota and McDonald Place were tied to the Metro Branch Trail. They, you know, painted everything for the Metro Branch Trail on the streets, and they've not turned the lights on. And that was actually a deal made with DDOT that they wouldn't install the trail until they had the lights, but they were gung-ho on the bike trail and not gung-ho on the light. So they are waiting for, I guess, Pepco or somebody, I don't know, but they keep telling me every month that the lights will be active in a month. And it's been 3 months that they've told me that, and they've never been active. That's the best answer that I can give you with regard to that. We met with them a couple of weeks ago, actually, with regard to the bike trail, and they were supposed to get back to us with some information, and they've not done that yet. They've missed their deadline. And so I was trying to give them some grace in responding, but they have in fact not responded. And I think they're thinking that they're just waiting us out because my term ends in a couple of weeks, months.
Oh, okay.
So that's part of the answer. With regard to Oglethorpe, I've advocated for something to be done at that intersection for a while. And again, they just not responded. If anyone knows me well, they know that DDOT, I feel, is the worst run agency in the district. I never, ever have any good response from DDOT. I cannot get anything accomplished with them. Maybe it's me.
And so there's no
maybe the next
oversight.
commissioner
I
will
mean,
do
I know
better.
you are a zealous advocate, but I'm just curious. So there's no like appeals, or well, it's not even appeals because nothing's been done, but there's no,
Right.
yeah.
Right, nothing's been done, so there's nothing to appeal. There's no decision.
No, I know, I
Can't
get it.
appeal anything.
Well, you know, they're
I
not going
can
to be
ask
happy until
Yami.
there's a fatality. Because that's probably going, you know, maybe that'll get some action, and it's really unfortunate.
Right, and I can ask Yami to check in on it. But you know, that has a director that does what they want to do.
So we can't talk to the mayor. So can the residents talk to the mayor's office about it? I
So
mean, it's
that's
not acceptable that we pay taxes and DDOT doesn't do anything. That's not acceptable.
all right. Thanks, Laura, for flagging. I'm gonna look into this and escalate it to DDOT's because we have a point of contact at DDOT's currently been in and out of the office for the moment. At the moment, so I'm just gonna go ahead and escalate in regards to this light because I do remember it coming up last meeting, and I thought it was addressed at the walk, but I'll go ahead and escalate it up in regards to the light on McDonald's, in regards to the traffic and people getting out of their driveway. I'm not sure how that can be addressed. It would have to be as something that I will maybe ask DDOT to come out and speak with you guys and see them for itself. I don't know the length of it, but I will make sure that we'll stop by and have our eyes on it for ourselves. That way we can see how we can work with DDOT to escalate that and fix that for the neighbors, because I'm sure that is frustrating.
Yeah, but okay, I appreciate that. My understanding is that residents have previously talked about the problems with Oglethorpe at the 200 block. I thought someone had already come out and looked at it.
Right, but I'm fairly returning, and Leticia is in for about a month. So I'm not, I will have to ask DDOT to give me the background of it as well and see what the status is. But I like to go myself and see how things are going. That way I can be like, no, something needs to, like I like to see things for myself. That way I see what you guys' concern is, and I can address that with the agencies and push them to give us answers.
Okay. Well, I'll send my email to Commissioner Brooks. Maybe she can provide it. I'm happy to be a partner.
Add me to I drop our information with our phone numbers and our email address on the link. I'm not sure if it popped up on yours end. I think
No,
I
it didn't.
was a
It didn't.
panelist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've emailed Commissioner Brooks before. I'll just send an email. I'm happy to be a partner with you in this because it's just not acceptable. So I'll persevere and keep doing whatever I need to do and help you if you need any assistance, because somebody needs to speak up and actually provide some services. So thank you so much.
And I mean, all of this happened before you arrived. All of the conversations at that point, Christian Panera was the DDOT person, and I sent an email to Cornelius in August and didn't get a response.
Okay.
And that's the email I think that Laura's referring to. It had pictures and everything.
Okay.
Showing the traffic, and I'm going to forward it to you now.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, we will move on. Next on the agenda is Barbara Rogers from the Office of Ward 4 Council Member Janice Lewis George. Barbara? Barbara, if you're there, you're on mute.
Can you all hear me?
Yes. Good evening.
Can you see me?
We can.
All righty. Hello, 4B commissioners and community. I actually just have a few updates. We are having a utility pop-up. We did have one last week at the Petworth Library, and we're having one this coming Wednesday. The utility pop-up, we will have DC Water, Pepco, OPC, PSC, and DOEE at this event. It will be at Emory Heights Community Center on Georgia Avenue from 6 to 8 p.m. The event last week was a big success. So if you know of a neighbor that may want to apply for LIHEAP, they were there to assist them in applying for LIHEAP, which I'll talk about what that program is in a second. Council update, the beginning of October marked the start of our 2025 fiscal year, meaning many of the bills, programs, and projects passed in FY25 budget are now starting to go into effect. We are particularly grateful for the STEER Act to go into effect. This bill cracks down on repeat reckless drivers, and it actually authorizes the DC Attorney General to bring cases against Maryland and Virginia drivers who violate our traffic laws and also don't pay their tickets. We're also looking forward to some of the modernizations for several of our park schools, for which funding is now available. The LIHEAP registration. For those of you all who don't know, that is the DC's Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. That application process is now open and funded. So LIHEAP will assist income eligible district households with heating and cooling costs. Eligible households may receive energy assistance between $250 all the way up to $1,800. And this is a program that many of our seniors do qualify for. So we want to get the word out to them. If you have a senior that you think may want to apply, please send me their information. I'm happy to assist where we can. They are now taking appointments, so people can make appointments to go in and get assistance with the application. There is a website, I'll put that in the link. I think Yami talked about the snow removal and the leaf collection. Let's see. And I think that's all I actually have. Yeah, she talked about the leaf collection. And so, yeah, that's all I have. I will also put the link for our newsletter that we send out every week. Oh, there is one more. We do Ward 4 office hours every Wednesday at Fort Stevens Rec from noon to 1. And we do Hattie Homes the same day from 1:30 to 2:30. So that is me. I will be there. So if you have any constituent concerns, please come through, sit down, and we can address those. Again, I will put the link for our newsletter in the chat as well. That's all I have, and thank you all so much for having me.
Sure. Commissioner Yates, you had a question? Commissioner Yates?
Yeah, I just wanted to take a moment to congratulate the council member. I hope you'll relay it on her new arrived in the last couple days. And that we hope that you are running all the interference in the world for her, Barbara, and not letting anyone talk to her at all, and not forwarding any phone calls, and everything's going straight to voicemail so that she can spend time with her baby.
I will say it is hard to stop her from working, but we're doing our best.
Throw yourself on that sword for me, please.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And yes, we want to give her our best. Jocelyn has a question, Commissioner Yates.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure to Barbara that she also has on the radar screen again about the 6500 block of 8th Street being resurfaced. It's going on probably about 2 years now, and they haven't done anything since they did the construction on 8th Street. As you know, going up, I guess, to Missouri all the way to Piney Branch. They did everywhere except for there. And I want to get it because the last month I think the last couple of months we had Mr. Cornelius address it and nothing has happened. So again, like this resident just said, we're not getting the services and that's just not acceptable. And I also want to make sure that Miss George or your office is aware of this new thing where the kids are sitting in the tree space getting passing the joint, the vape, whatever. I don't. Hopefully, they can be proactive on this before this becomes like the new thing. Hopefully, somebody will be looking into it as well. Thank you.
Okay, yes. Jocelyn, I do have both of those things written down. And then I also wanted to just quickly speak to, I know my 3 minutes are probably up, speak to Laura, who's in the 200 block of Oglethorpe. I live in that same community. I am on Oneida Street, so I do know what she's talking about. Yami, if you want to set up a meeting there, please include me. I'm happy to do that. I mean, this backup happens actually not only on Oglethorpe, but also on Peabody. And it is just people, again, coming through the neighborhood streets, trying to get on to, or sometimes even avoid the traffic backup on New Hampshire. So I'm happy to assist with that as well.
All right, thank you. All right, next, Fraser O'Leary, Ward 4 State Board of Education.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
A couple of things. I was at the hearing we passed the nurses resolution, and that our resolution has gone to the council, and I testified at the beginning of the month about having a nurse in every public and charter school in the city. So hopefully the council will be working on that diligently during this session. Tomorrow, I'll be testifying at the city council hearing on teacher retention. I think there are right now 85 witnesses that are going to be testifying tomorrow about the need for there to be some kind of a policy to try to help teachers stay in their jobs. I'll be testifying about mentors and about the need for mentors for new teachers. On the 20th of November, at our public meeting, we will have a panel about cell phone usage in the schools. It's a very controversial kind of topic. There are a lot of different ways that it's being done in our schools, but there's no general policy about cell phones in the schools. And so I hope that there'll be some great information come out about that we can get a resolution together to make sure that our students are working on their schoolwork in the classroom rather than talking on their phones. I just want to give you an example. At Whittier Elementary, the students come in and all the students put their phones in just one of those big bins, a tub, plastic tubs. And at the end of school, the students pick up their phones and go home. And there's no theft, there's no controversy or anything like that. I'm not saying that every school should have that done because our high schools and middle schools have different rules for that. But the students really don't need as far as I'm concerned, need to have their phones in their classroom. There's also going to be, we're going to start working on trying to get the temporary buildings for Whittier for next school year rather than the year after next, because Whittier is still in bad shape. They continue to have plumbing problems, the roof leaks, and there are things that need to be done. And I have been testifying forever about the fact that if Whittier's going to be in their building for the next 2 years, the DCPS needs to come in and make sure that that building is safe, secure, and comfortable for everybody in the building. In November, there will be a council hearing on special education. I would encourage any of you who know anyone or have someone who has a child with special needs to sign up to testify at that hearing, because a lot of children are not being serviced by the systems. On Halloween night, the Orange Bowl will be this year at Roosevelt. That's when Coolidge plays Roosevelt at their homecoming. And if you haven't got anything else to do on Halloween night, I'm being facetious about that. Maybe you can go by and support your neighbors' children. And last but not least, we're still collecting books. My front room was empty for about 3 days, and now it's packed. I won't show you what it looks like right behind me, but I'll be delivering books starting on tomorrow. And you can get in touch with me at 202-236-2184 or oman, OMAN 9 at AOL. Can I get on the chat now? I tried earlier.
You should be able to.
Okay, I will try. I don't see it, but let me expand it. So that's what I have. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Anyone have any questions or concerns or comments? Commissioner Colson?
Hey, Representative O'Leary, when you all are exploring the cell phone policy, I want you all to also keep in mind that there are students that have medical needs and it's aligned to their cell phone. So in terms of reading their medical history, the blood pressure, all of that is connected. So there are several students who must keep their cell phones. So keep that in mind. And then as you already know, what cell phone collection looks like on the elementary level is definitely different on the high school level. So I'm sure that you all can sort that out. But I know that teachers are also using cell phone in their curriculum. So their do nows and their exit tickets and all of those things. So that might be something that you all want to discuss. And then finally, with the teacher retention, I'm not sure if that's specific just to teacher retention, but right now in DCPS, we have 17 vacancies for social workers and 19 for psychologists. So maybe that should be explored as well.
That hearing, I'm sure, will cover almost everything you can think of tomorrow, since there are almost 100 people testifying. The cell phone, what we're going to have a panel about, and I'm in charge of the committee that's talking about educator excellence, is we're going to listen to what everyone has to say, and then we're going to have to stretch out and find out because we're looking for a general policy for cell phones. And I understand completely what you're saying about that, especially with students with special medical needs or anything like that. And we know that there are some classes like physics classes or chemistry classes where the students are able to use that. So it's not taking cell phones away from the students. It's managing where the cell phones are so the students can not use their cell phones for something other than academic reasons in the classrooms. Thank you.
I would add to that policy, there needs to be some explanation or bullet as to what you're going to do when the school damages the $1,000 phone that I bought my child. Because right now that's not being addressed. What happens if you lose the phone, give it to the wrong child, crack the screen, all of those things?
Well, those are things that right now there is no central any kind of policy.
Right, but what I'm saying is that everyone has an idea around whether or not they should be allowed to have the phone or not. And I'm saying that if the policy is to take the phone or make the child turn the phone in, then associated with their policy has to be something about how you make a parent whole when you damage it.
No, I agree, but that's what we'll be talking about with the panel. And you could come and testify on that the 20th of November at 5:30.
I actually might do that. I'm on
Good,
vacation next
good.
week.
That'd be
I'll
great.
be able to do that.
And I got your
Thank you.
message, and I'll take care of that.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Nope. All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right, thank y'all.
We're going to move to our committee updates. We'll start with Housing Justice Committee.
Yes, thank you, Chair Brooks. Just want to update on our October meeting, which took place on October 2nd. We had a really robust presentation from and discussion with the DC Housing Finance Agency about their home purchase assistance programs. It was very detailed and informative, as well as some additional discussion about trying to complete before the end of the calendar year the Tenant Resource Hub, which compiles information from the Tenant Resource Fair that the committee hosted in July. So that should be a very valuable resource that we will put together and have linked and available to the public. The next Housing Justice Committee meeting is Wednesday, November 6th at 7:30 p.m. All that information is on the website. We will have a presentation from and discussion with the DC Office of Human Rights about housing discrimination issues. Thank you.
Commissioner Yates, Vision Zero Committee update.
Yeah, the Vision Zero Committee meeting met Wednesday, October 16th. We had two presentations, one from the District Department of Transportation on possible solutions available for traffic calming through the TSI process, and greater information on how the TSI process, which is the traffic safety input process, works. And then a short presentation from the team behind the Metropolitan Branch Trail around a small iterative change to the intersection of their design for crossing the Fourth Cedar and Blair intersection. That project is still currently in the design phase. This is the northernmost section of the project, and they're in the process of moving from the 60% design phase to the 100% design phase, but it is not at the 100% design phase, which would involve the broader presentation of the whole length.
Okay, thank you very much. Commissioner Palmer, Youth Advisory Committee. You're on mute.
Thank you, Chair Brooks. Just trying to keep the ambient noise down. Thank you for reminding me that I was muted. We had a brief but great meeting on October 20th at the Shepherd Park Library with our youth committee. We had intended to go to the HBCU museum, but they are officially closed. So if anybody is looking to visit them, they opened a location in another state and indicated that they may come back to DC at some point, but their location on Georgia Avenue is now closed. So we did have a discussion with our youth committee members. For those who may not know, our youth committee is comprised of youth members about their visions and plans for college and what they hope to achieve when they finish with high school. And we are working on a November meeting, likely to be November 16th, which is tentatively going to be a service activity with the Powell Communal Garden, which is based on a prior meeting where we had a representative from the District Department of Parks and Recreation to talk about their communal farms and efforts to get food to those in need. And so we're hoping to go and support the farm as a service activity. And that is likely to be November 16th. But again, that information will be on the website, the commission's website, once finalized. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson, are you there? Okay, so then if Commissioner Johnson is not here at this moment, then we will have to skip the Community Safety and Support Committee update. They do meet monthly, and you can find the agenda for her next meeting on our website. We'll move directly to the presentation, item number 6, Matthew Ramos, Communications and Public Affairs Specialist of the Office of the Inspector General, regarding work and mission of the office. We'll have a 10-minute presentation and discussion.
Hi. So thanks for having me, first of all. First off, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, cool. Y'all are in a really tight ship, and I see a lot of these ANC meetings, and that's great to like actually to see these go through and have that brand that way. But in case, as Commissioner Brooks mentioned a second ago, my name is Matthew Ramos, and I'm here with the Office of the Inspector General. And on behalf of Inspector General Lucas, just thank you for having us here. In case you don't know, OIG is an executive branch agency that our mission is to provide independent oversight to all district programs and operations. So actually, that little interaction between Chair Brooks and Laura earlier is actually a really good example of where we need to kind of jump in. Now, if I can share.
You should be able to share your screen.
Yep, I made you a co-host, so it should work, but if it doesn't, let me know.
Nope, we're good. Okay. So yeah, these slides will help you understand what OIG does, when and how to report fraud, waste, and abuse, and how to promote positive changes that improve district services and programs. Now, our first oversight mission is preventing and detecting corruption, mismanagement, waste, fraud, and abuse. Now, as you can see on this slide, these activities concern individuals' conduct. Starting at the top, corruption. That's when someone's using one's government authority to personally benefit from official actions, such as receiving bribes to influence an official act. Under that, there's fraud, which may involve submitting false information to district agencies for benefits, contracts, or grants. And then to address corruption and fraud allegations, our investigators work to uncover evidence that may constitute a violation of federal or district law. Now, if we have an indication of this misconduct, we refer these matters to the U.S. Attorney's Office for possible prosecution. But only the judicial system can determine whether an individual's actions constitute criminal violations, because an individual's conduct may not necessarily be a criminal violation, but a violation of district regulation and policy. Now, conduct that may constitute waste of district resources would be purchasing more expensive items from a preferred vendor, or an abuse may constitute the authority for purposes other than benefiting the government, such as using any district equipment for their own personal benefit. Like if you see someone driving a DPW truck to go move their own stuff. And then mismanagement is concerned whenever conduct the issues that actually got brought up earlier, where an agency isn't really doing what they're supposed to do or what their goal and mission is. Now, our second oversight mission area is promoting accountability, economy, effectiveness, and efficiency of district programs and operations. And we do this by auditing, inspecting, and evaluating inspections and evaluation engagements to assess those programs and operations, and to ensure that the focus of the operations of those programs are benefiting all of the district and not just the individual. And whenever we start an engagement with an agency, those are designed to ensure that district resources are tracked, used appropriately, and that the program and activity outputs are maximized. And those outputs translate to outcomes that are doing the agency's goals. And so if the agency isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing, we need to know. Basically, I'm not trying to make it mom versus dad, but if an agency isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing, contact us and let us know. If you're getting those complaints into 311 and this is going on for years and years without anything being done, please, by all means, we need to know. And we don't keep that information, we don't track that information if we don't have that information. So please, our number is pretty easy to get to. I'll get to that in a second, which is our other mission is just letting people know what we do. If you're unfamiliar with the website, it's oig.dc.gov. You can also you can fill out the report on there if you look in the top right of the screen, where you can press report waste, fraud, and abuse, and that's specifically for district agencies and programs. Now, we do also have another unit called the Medicaid Fraud Control Unit. We're one of the few, actually, we're the only non-state attorney general's office that has a Medicaid fraud control unit. It's something that's actually paid for by the Social Security Administration, and if that goes for home health aides or anyone who receives Medicaid dollars if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And again, that's something that we need to know and track and actually sometimes prosecute on if we need to. If you need to report something to us, to do so by email is hotline.inspectorgeneral@dc.gov. By phone, it's 202-724-TIPS, which is 8477. Or like I said earlier, on our website, oig.dc.gov. You can also do it by mail if you need it to really be confidential, or in person at our office at 100 M Street Southeast in Suite 1000. Now, if there's any questions or to sign up for our text and email updates, please do so with that QR code right there. Follow us on Instagram, X, or Facebook. But I do see a bunch of hands going up, so I'm going to go to those.
Yep. If you can take down the share, I will start with Commissioner Yates. Then we'll go to Commissioner Palmer and then Commissioner Gillian.
Yeah, Matthew, I wanted to thank you for joining us tonight. I wanted to follow up on a commission resolution that we sent you, 4B 230907, about the Office of Unified Communications. As you may know, in 1998, the Office of Inspector General conducted what was basically considered a seminal study of the fire and EMS and police dispatching in the District of Columbia that include a pay and compensation study for dispatchers. It led to substantial reforms, and our resolution called on OIG to replicate that pay and compensation study for dispatchers to ensure that we are able to compete with neighboring jurisdictions in training and hiring these essential emergency services. We never heard a response from OIG on that resolution. So wondering if you received it, if there's any plans, what work you've done with regards to emergency response in the District of Columbia?
Thanks for that question. I have not received it personally, but if you can actually forward that to me when we get off of this, that would actually be appreciated. So I can follow up and get you an answer back shortly. And as far as work we've done when it comes to OUC in particular, we do have thanks. That's perfect. We did they were part of an overtime audit that we did recently, and that was actually in our annual report that comes out. But as far as any investigation into OUC in general, if we don't have those complaints coming in, we don't know where to look. And so that's one thing that we need to hear more of. And so that's not something that I have in front of me right now.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Palmer.
Yes, I wanted to thank you for being here, especially late in the evening on a weekday, and to ask two kind of general questions. One, if you can explain OIG's relationship or how you're different from the DC auditor as two entities that do independent investigatory work. And also if you can give some examples of things that have come to OIG, like not revealing any client confidences or anything like that, but general subject matter areas so that we and residents can understand the kind of thing that's appropriate to report to OIG.
Thanks for that question. For the second one, at least, when it comes to what to report to OIG, if a district program or agency is not responding to you, that's something that we need to know. If a district program or agency is basically, well, if anyone isn't not getting a response, but if you notice any sort of fraud, waste, corruption, or mismanagement in front of you, like the example I gave earlier, someone using government property for their own personal benefit, anything related to, well, as you may have heard, taking a bribe, taking any sort of contract and benefiting from that when they're not supposed to as well. Now, when it comes to our inspections and evaluations, we actually just can look at how that agency is run and then provide recommendations for what they can do to improve that agency. If one thing that actually came out recently was a recommendation follow-up report that we just put out on the 24th of this month. And you could see if we made some suggestions to that agency based on our own inspection and evaluation, that'll actually, if they aren't taking those recommendations and to heart and putting them into process, then it's something that we actually track as well. Now, if you know someone's committing residency fraud, that's actually something you would contact us about. Like I said earlier, Medicaid fraud is another one. If someone's getting benefits that they're not supposed to receive, it has to be systemic. Basically, if it's not when it comes to an issue you have with someone having paper tags, that's not something that we would do. That's something you'd call the police for. But as far as if you know someone who works for district government and is selling some fake registration, that's something that we would need to know. Going back to the first question on anything, what was it again? Sorry.
The relationship to the DC auditor and how you're different from them.
We cover different areas. We are actually considered independent of any other district government or agency. But that actually is something that's by mandate, and they have to actually get that to you later.
Okay, Commissioner Gilligan.
My question was actually already answered in the previous response, so thank you.
Wonderful. Love when that happens. Okay, let's go to Laura.
Hi, thank you. The
Can you ask your question?
mismanagement, does that include utilities?
Because they do business with the district, yes.
Okay, and then in terms of what if you're not aware if it is systemic because you're not sure, you're aware of what your situation is, but it's possible that there's other, should you just err on the side of contacting OIG?
The more we know, the better.
Okay, thank you.
You can't go wrong just sending, it takes probably like 5 minutes to fill out our web form. The call is a pretty process to go through as well. So honestly, don't be afraid to just kind of flood us.
Okay, and just a shout out, kudos to you with the Medicaid Fraud Control Unit. I worked there in New York, and it's very important work that you do.
Thank you.
All right, Jocelyn.
Yes, I just wanted you please to repeat your location and your phone number. You said it kind of quick. Please. Thank you.
So yeah, it's the location is 100 M Street Southeast. Suite 1000. And the phone number for reporting is 202-724-8477.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'll also put that in the chat when I get a second right now.
Cool. All right.
Any other questions? All right.
I see one in the Q&A, Chair Brooks.
Okay, go ahead.
If you make a report, Darlene Jackson says, if you make a report to OIG regarding misconduct of a DC government employee, is it the resident's right to get an update? I was reported to DCRA, now DOB employee, and was told I could not get an update on my complaint.
Yes, unfortunately, because of confidential reasons, we can't just we can't let that information out. If someone like makes sure, even if you're the one that made the report, if it was a report that was made on you, it's not something that we do as a policy.
All right. I think that covers everyone. All right, thank you very much. And thank you for the compliment at the beginning of your presentation. It's much appreciated.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, we will move on to our consent calendar. We have 2 items on consent. Each of these items were posted to our website for resident review and consideration. As you know, consent calendar items are not discussed or at least not discussed in this meeting. They have been discussed previously. So we start with resolution 4B241005, calling for a modern container deposit return law to reduce litter and improve recycling rates. Commissioner Palmer, Yates, Brooks, and Smith. Next is a letter expressing concerns regarding the Emergency Rental Assistance Reform Emergency Amendment Act of 2024 and calling for engagement with tenant lawyers and the tenant community in modifying emergency rental assistance. Commissioner Palmer, Yates, Brooks, and Smith. Is there a motion to accept the consent calendar as presented?
I'll move, Chair Brooks.
Thank you. And a second? Thank you. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 Yeah, just for clarity, I need to know who's not here anymore.
Commissioner Cohen is not here anymore. Commissioner Johnson, I don't believe is here anymore. If she is, she needs to come off mute and let us know that she's here.
So it's the folks on screen, it's 7 commissioners present. Okay.
Yes.
Noted.
All right. Thank you very much. Next, and lastly, and thank you all for a very efficient and quick meeting. The last item on the agenda is resolution 4B241006, calling for a full-time nurse in every public school and efforts to enhance staffing. Commissioner Palmer, Yates, Brooks, and Smith. Commissioner Palmer, do you want to take the lead?
Yes, I will present this resolution, which is available on the commission's website if folks would like to take a closer look at it. This resolution is built around the premise that school nurses are essential to promoting the health and well-being of students, providing essential health care, managing chronic health conditions, and addressing medical emergency. DC, since 2023, has employed a cluster model for school nurses, which is instead of having a full-time nurse per school, it's teams of nurses that rotate across a group of schools that are geographically close to one another. This cluster model has resulted in reduced nursing coverage for DC schools and has been broadly criticized by school families, ANCs, and nurses themselves. The district's current law, which is the Public School Health Services Amendment Act of 2017, actually requires a full-time nurse in every school, but the district does not comply with that law and has actually never funded it. Part of this has to do with the shortage in school nurses and health technicians, and that relates to non-competitive salaries and the lack of work supports. Instead of trying to meaningfully address needs and staffing shortages, the DC Council in February introduced legislation to replace the existing requirement for a full-time nurse in every school to 30 hours per week of nursing coverage, which is a much lower standard than what is currently in the law. In late September, the DC State Board of Education unanimously approved a resolution advocating for enhanced school nurse staffing and support in DC school. That included proposed legislation, the Universal Public School Nurses for Safer Students Amendment Act of 2024, and the legislation calls for a full-time nurse in every DC public school, as well as measures to support existing nurses and attract more people to the profession. So this resolution supports the State Board of Education's resolution and their call for a full-time nurse in every DC school and measures to enhance nurse staffing. I want to give a special shout of gratitude to the Ward 5 State Board of Education representative, Robert Henderson, who worked with the commission in putting this together and shared information about what the State Board of Education worked on and heard in terms of putting their resolution together. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions?
I just wanted to also speak in support of this resolution. The professional unionized nurse workforce in the District of Columbia schools is essential. It played a key role in the pandemic and getting our children back to school. Most people who are adults who grew up in an environment where every school had a nurse have fond memories of their interaction with their school nurse and the essential role that they play in the health and well-being of many meaningful life moments for them. I would just say that this has been a long-standing trend with District of Columbia government to deprofessionalize nursing and say that, patient technicians, lower credentialed staff can fill the job just as well, rather than actually allocating the money that's needed to pay these people, this largely female workforce, women of color, the money that they have earned and that they deserve, and that it is time to allocate the resources necessary to ensure that we have these highly trained professionals in the schools caring for our children in the time of need. So thank you, Commissioner Palmer, for taking the lead on authoring this resolution.
Is there a motion? Or is there further discussion? I guess I should say. No? Is there a motion? Commissioner Colson?
I make a motion to, I don't forgot the language. What is it? Pass this
Accept the
resolution
resolution as presented.
as presented.
Is there a second? It's late. It's okay. I forget things after 9. So it's all right. You've been up earlier than me.
I support this motion. So I was like, yes, let's get this done. Yes.
Is there a second? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 That's everyone present. Or everyone, I'm sorry, that you see. That's 7. All right, guys. I will say that we have made it through what is, for some of us, our second to last meeting as commissioners. So with that, I will adjourn the meeting and look forward to seeing you next month. Good night.
Right.